And welcome back. And thank you so much for joining me in today's video. Hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I appreciate you for joining me today. I'm actually really excited to share this video with you guys because this video is based on Redfin's weekly housing market update. So this actually report right here covers the 4 weeks ended January 29th this year. And Redfin's data goes back to 2015. So in today's video, I'm gonna provide an analysis regarding home prices, housing inventory, price reductions, and of course, much more. So I have a lot to share. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So again, this report covers the 4 weeks ended January 29th this year. And this is what they had to say regarding home prices. The median sold price in the US is approximately $347,000, an increase of 0.8% on a year-over-year basis. I'm actually really surprised how well home sold prices have been doing, because ever since really the end, or actually probably the beginning of November last year through this year, home sold prices have been in the range of $350,000 to $355,000. And to be honest with you guys, I was expecting to see negative price appreciation in January, but we're not there just yet, because look at this, an increase of 0.8% on a year-over-year basis. I was really expecting to this be a negative number in January, maybe in February. So again, up 0.8% on a year-over-year basis. Home prices, though, have fallen in 19 of the 50 most populous US metros. The biggest drops were actually in San Francisco, a decrease of 7.8% compared to 12 months ago. Oakland, California, just east of San Francisco, a decrease of 7.5%. Detroit declining by 5.7%. Austin, Texas, down by 4.6%. And Phoenix down by 4.3%. In contrast, though, home sold prices increased the most in West Palm Beach, Florida. Look at that, an increase of 12.6% compared to 12 months ago. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, gaining 9.5%. Indianapolis, Indiana, increase of 8.4%. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, an increase of 8.3%. And Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, gaining 7.8% compared to the same week 1 year ago. Meanwhile, asking prices increased 2.9% on a year-over-year basis compared to the increase of 0.8% for home sold prices. And here's a look at home sold prices in the US going back to 2020. Again, I really wish we would have 2019's levels, because we compare that to, or compare this year's levels to pre-COVID. But ever since 2023, they actually removed 2019, unfortunately. Here's what I mean by home prices remaining very flat, or relatively flat. Ever since November last year, we've been seeing the median sold price in the US in the range of $354,000. End of the year at approximately $351,000. And right now, the range of home prices in the range of $350,000 now to approximately $347,000. So we've been seeing very little movement regarding home sold prices in the US ever since November last year. Now, having said that, when you compare home prices right now at $347,000 compared to the peak, which is more or less May and June last year, home sold prices still have decreased by about 10.5%. One thing to keep in mind is that obviously it's a positive sign to see that home prices are decreasing if you're a home buyer, decreasing by 10.5% compared to the highs we saw back in 2022. However, when comparing home sold prices today, or should I say last week, compared to the same time frame in 2020, home sold prices have still increased by about 32%. That's because the median sold price back in 2020 was approximately $264,000. Again, this is the median sold price in the US, $264,000 3 years ago, and now it's $347,000. And going back to Redfin's report here, it says the monthly mortgage payment on the median asking price home was $2,349 per month at the current 6.09% rate. Rates right now at the time of this video, which is the 2nd of February, are around 6% according to the Mortgage News Daily. But this is actually down $160 per month, or a decrease of 6% compared to October's peak. But compared to 1 year ago, average monthly housing payments are still up approximately 28%, or approximately $511 more per month to buy a median price home today versus 12 months ago. Let me also give you guys an update regarding pending home sales, which of course is a measure of contracts being signed between buyers and sellers, as well as housing inventory and new listings. So pending home sales were down 22.6% on a year-over-year basis, the smallest year-over-year decline in over 4 months, according to Redfin. This is also an interesting stat here. Actually, I really liked how they shared this. They started sharing this approximately 1 to 2 months ago. It says among the 50 most populous U.S. metros, pending home sales fell the most in Las Vegas, down nearly 62% year over year. Phoenix, pending home sales down 54%. San Jose, California, just south of San Francisco, down 51%. Jacksonville, Florida, down 50%. 50% decline in Nashville, Tennessee as well. Pending home sales rose in only one U.S. metro that they track. And keep in mind, they're following 50 U.S. metros. Only one metro reported an increase of contracts being signed, and that was Cincinnati, Ohio, a gain of 20.3%. Therefore, this means that 49 of the 50 most populous metros recorded decreases in pending home sales on a year-over-year basis. Therefore, despite the fact that this decrease on a national level, down by 22.6%, is the smallest decline in 4 months, 49 of the 50 most populous US metros are still recording decreases on a year-over-year basis. Therefore, this is not going to be a repeat of 2021 or 2022 by any means. Now, in regards to the number of new listings being listed for sale, that fell 16.7% year over year, the smallest decline since the 4 weeks ended September 25th, 2022. So therefore, it kind of appears we're seeing this narrowing gap between 2022 and this year regarding new listings, possibly due to the fact that new listings have been increasing. Let's actually have a look at a chart compared to 2022 through 2020 though. And here's that right here. So new listings decreased by 16.7%. Compare that to January 1st this year, we saw a 23.2% decrease on a year-over-year basis. So back then, there was approximately 37,511 new listings for the 4 weeks ended January 1st this year. Fast forward to today, I should say not today, January 29th, there was approximately 59,188. So even though the difference between 2022 and this year has been narrowing, it's still well below the past several years. In fact, below levels in 2020, 2021, and of course, 2022. So approximately 59,188 new listings this year. Compare that to 2022, there's approximately 71,000. Also back in 2020, as well as 2021, there's approximately 77,000 new listings, whereas this year, only 59,000. What I'm really excited to see is what's going to happen this spring, because during the spring months, especially in February through April, we tend to see a huge increase of new listings. We actually can see that over the past couple of years, because new listings really started to increase big time, really ever since February through the summer months, all the way through more or less June last year. But the increase is going to actually be interesting this spring, because are more people going to be listing their houses? Are we going to see more new listings this year compared to last year? Time will tell. And of course, I'll definitely keep you posted. And of course, I do mention that because if we see a huge increase of new listings, housing supply will be increasing as well. And that's going to cause more downward pressure on home prices. And of course, in contrast though, if we continue to see a decrease of new listings, of course, that's going to put downward pressure on inventory and of course, upward pressure on prices. All right, let's get back to Redfin's report here. It says among the 50 most populous US metros, new listings rose in 3. So only 3 metros reported increases of new listings on a year-over-year basis. Those were Nashville, Tennessee, only an increase of 3.8%, Dallas, Texas, 1.9%, and Austin, Texas, an increase of 0.3%. New listings declined the most in Sacramento, down 43.7% year over year. Oakland declined by 40%, also declined by about 40% in San Diego, as well as San Jose. And in Portland, Oregon, a decrease of new listings down 37.1%. So it's very interesting to see that based on the data we have today, we continue to see a decrease of new listings nationwide as a whole, but also amongst the 50 most populous metros as well, because approximately 47 of the 50 most populous metros recorded decreases compared to 1 year ago regarding new listings. Meanwhile, active listings, which of course is housing supply or the number of houses for sale in the US, was up 23.3% on a year-over-year basis. So we have approximately 23% more houses for sale compared to 1 year ago, back in 2022. As you can see right here, a gain of 23.3% compared to 2022 right here. So the current inventory levels we have right now is more or less on par with 2021, but still well below 2020. Back in 2020, we had approximately 981,000 houses for sale in the US, and right now we only have approximately 697,000. Also, check this out, because the month supply in the US right now is at 4.6 months. Look at this, 4.6 months. This means at the current sales pace right now, if no new listings were to hit the market, if people cease listing their houses for sale, at the current sales pace, all houses would be sold in 4.6 months. A lot of people talk about how a balanced real estate market is in the range of 4 to 6 months, and a buyer's market is anything above 6 months. I would say a balanced real estate market is more or less 4 months-ish, and a buyer's market would be above 4 months. So in my personal opinion, we have a buyer's market on a national average right now at 4.6 months. This is actually up from 4.3 months from the prior 4-week period and up from 2.2 months from 12 months ago. Now here's a chart showing the month supply going back to 2020. Again, the month supply right now is 4.6 months, which is astonishing because this is more or less on par with 2020. But much higher compared to 2021, when the month supply was around 2.5 months, and also around 2.2 months, or I should say, 2.2 months that we saw back in 2022. Also interesting to see here that the month supply has been more or less skyrocketing every single week this year. We started the year at just under 3.5 months. Now it's 4.6, more or less going straight up, which is exactly the opposite we saw back in 2022 as well as 2021. We did see a slight increase in 2022 through the end of January last year, or in the January last year. In 2021, we did see an increase more or less for the first half of the year, or the first half of January, whereas this year, more or less going straight up. Let's also have a look at how fast or how slow houses are selling in the US right now, according to Redfin. So Redfin's reporting that the median days in the market is at approximately 48.7 days, more or less 49 days to sell a house in the US, at least for the 4 weeks ended January 29th. This actually means that it's taking approximately 15 days longer to sell a house compared to the same time frame in 2022. In other words, it's taking just over 2 weeks longer to sell a house in the US compared to 12 months ago. Additionally, at 49 days right now, this is above levels we saw back in 2021. Back in 2021 at this time, days in the market was approximately 41 days. Now it's approximately 49 days. They also reported that approximately 21% of houses that sold above the seller's final asking price. In contrast though, this means approximately 80% sold at or below the seller's final asking price. So of course, what this means is that 8 times out of 10, houses are selling for at or below the seller's asking price on average. What's also eye-opening about this chart right here is that 1 year ago, approximately 40% of houses that sold above the seller's final asking price. Now it's nearly half that at approximately 20.6%. Let's also have a look at the average sale price to final list price ratio as well, because on average, houses were selling for approximately 2% below the seller's final asking price for the 4 weeks ended January 29th this year. So houses on average selling for about 2% below asking. 1 year ago, they were selling for the asking price on average at 100%. And also back in the spring months of 2022, houses on average were selling for about 3% over asking. Now again, they're selling for approximately 2% below. It's also worth noting here that the current levels is more or less on par with 2020, but still below 2021 and of course 2022 as well. Also, have a look at this. Here's Redfin's Home Buyer Demand Index, which of course is an index which measures requests for home tours and other home buying services by Redfin agents, has decreased by 25% compared to 12 months ago. However, the current levels right now are the highest levels since September of 2022. So even though Redfin has a decrease of home showing requests down by 25% compared to 12 months ago, they're still at the highest levels since September last year. And lastly, the current levels for home buying demand, according to Redfin, is still below 2021 and of course below 2022 as well. With that said, please comment below your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value in this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And of course, appreciate you. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.